Grab that auger. We got this. You guys are getting the cheapest price possible. You will not find a rod cheaper than this for this quality.
The idea behind it sounds good, just like hearing you say it sounds like
yeah.
cheap salesman, and I don't know how we're gonna not make it sound cheap salesman.
Yeah.
Hey, over here.
Oh. Hey, what do you think about this spot?
Yeah, I said this looks good.
This looks good? All right. Welcome back to the Frostbite YouTube channel. My name is Alex.
I'm Aaron.
You don't sound too excited, buddy.
I'm excited, the rods are in!
So we do have the rods, and this video is gonna be a little bit different because it's not gonna be a fishing video. We're gonna explain our differences between our burnt series, our medallion series, the reason why my buddy Aaron is a part of Frostbite. Let me rephrase that, not buddy, my co-worker.
That's better.
And as well as the price points and some of the actions later on in the video.
Quickly go through each model.
Exactly, quickly go through each model. So they will be up on the website as this video is dropping. So we will leave the link in our description to check the rods out. But I'm just gonna lay these rods out really quick. What does Frostbite mean to you, essentially? Not in a corny way, like that's corny. We're not here to like say some passion thing, you know.
Definitely with my fan base, Alex kind of has a mixed reputation since he can be squirrely. Sometimes he's not taken as seriously by a lot of people, and some people question why I even partnered up with Alex on the Frostbite project. The reality of it is that Alex is such a hardworking, self-deprecating, no ego guy that he is just so easy to work with on everything because he is the first to admit when something's wrong and needs to be done better. And from the outset of this, Alex told me I can be as involved in every single project as I want to be. So if I want to give a little bit of insight, or if I want to jump in with both feet, pilot the whole project as I've done with these rods, that I was free to do so. And in terms of my life in the fishing industry, it came at such a key point. I've been supported by a lot of great companies over the years. Unfortunately, the reality of a large company is that it is quite sluggish from top to bottom, and that is the case with any company that I've worked with in the past, and that's lures, rods, electronics, boats, everything. Just not the real opportunity for me to insight my ideas and change into the products. And part of what has happened with that is the need for us to be quite transparent with stuff. I'll tell you right now, we've got a couple things that need to be changed on some of our products. For example, the tantrum rattle bait that we've released, which we are incredibly happy with as a multi-species fish catcher, needs to have a split ring on the line tie. It was supposed to be on there. It's not on there, as is the case with actually a lot of baits in the industry. If you take like a jigging wrap or something, most people will immediately add a snap and increase the treble hook size. It doesn't mean that the way it comes isn't good enough and very fishable. It's just not perfect. And being that I'm so involved with Frostbite, I can push these ideas to completion. So the next phase of tantrums will come with a split ring. The price isn't gonna go up or anything. Also, the smallest size dinner bell. We love the treble hook. It's super strong, it's super sharp, but we wanna tweak the size just slightly bigger. That's something you can do on your own, and we are gonna continue to perfect all our products as we go along. Okay, let's get right into the rods. Yes, we had rods last year that we were very happy with. Unfortunately, the price point was quite a bit higher than we were comfortable with. We were selling rods for anywhere from $100 to $120 US. Of course, the biggest thing that made those rods expensive was that they were custom made with titanium recoil guides, which is a very premium, flexible guide that resists breaking and it flakes ice off when you're fishing outside and stuff. It is a very nice feature to have, but it is not a necessity, and like we said, it does drive the price up. So what we have come out with this year is two different tiers. Both have all 9 of our models in it. So the lower tier is called the Burnt Series, and that is going to retail for around $40. And the main designation of that is having a reel seat on it and no titanium guides. Our higher series does have those recoil guides, and it's going to retail for about $90 depending on the model, and it has no reel seat on it, so you have to either attach your reel with tape or those elastic bands that you see. And what that offers you is the ultimate in lightness, because a reel seat actually adds some weight to the rod. So that is the main difference between the two series, obviously the price and largely the titanium guides and the reel seat. And moving on to the reel seat, this is something I need to take a bit of ownership with because I was spearheading this whole project, and it's something that somehow slipped through the cracks. Basically, With reel seats, there is some variation in the size of the reel foot, and what happens with those really tiny ice reels with our current reel seat is there is just play in it. And what that means basically, depending on which reel, you are going to want to additionally tape on the reel in the reel seat, which is not ideal. We're admitting that. We know this isn't perfect. We have the action and power of all of these rods absolutely where we want them. We are so thrilled with them, but the components such as the reel seat is not all the way there yet. So we are going to push them out on the market, and we're going to offer you a crazy discount. We're going to be selling these rods, I think, from about $25 to $30. So depending on the reel, you might have to add some tape to firm it up, but for that price point, you cannot find this quality of rod anywhere, not even close. So if you want, buy them right now at the discounted price, or in time, we'll have that reel seat 100%. It's a little embarrassing.
There is just a little bit of play. We just want to make sure that you guys know exactly what you're buying. Now we're going to go through each specific rod and talk about the actions and what we would fish for with that rod.
So we have 9 models available in the 2 tiers, and essentially what we wanted to do was deliver the fewest rod models to cover the widest range of applications. In the future, we will get even more technique specific with rods that we release, but for now, we have these 9, and within them, there is some duplicity. So we're not suggesting you need all 9 to cover the spectrum of ice fishing, game fish, whatever. So we're gonna go through each one and also show you where the overlap is in some of these rod actions.
We're gonna start with our biggest rod first, which is the Mr. Big. This is a 43-inch heavy rod. I'm gonna let you...
What you see in a lot of lake trout rods, besides obviously the length and hopefully an oversized handle, what you see is too much power, believe it or not, and the rod is like so stiff that it can't actually load up on a fish. Yes, you want power, but in terms of action, it can't only bend in the end. You actually want it to load up. So you can see this rod does load when you put quite a bit of power into it. And this rod, we have taken all over the place. We saw on the Frostbite channel, Alex catch a trophy channel catfish on the Red River.
Oh! Thank you,
So
Spencer.
is the rod powerful enough?
Oh, yeah.
Looks like it.
Oh, geez. My first ever Manitoba catfish caught on an ice rod, the new 43 Mr. Big.
We took it to the Arctic and caught a bunch of lake trout on it, slinging it around.
You ever caught lake trout on ice rods in open water?
No.
Oh, no, this is not
in
it.
18 inches of water?
This is not it.
What's going on? What's going on, Alex? Shoot, what's going on? Okay, I got 1 lake trout in the net. Let's get a double netter going here. Okay.
This is a big fish. This is a really big fish.
Yes! Oh, yeah! Double lake trout. What do you got, Alex?
My biggest lake trout I've ever caught.
And to this point, we still haven't broke one. So we are extremely happy with the durability of this rod. And 43 inches is still plenty comfortable to fish in a shack. Shacks are not built nearly as small as they were back in the day. And there was this mentality that you need to have a short rod to fish in a shack. This rod, great for inside a shack, great for outside of a shack. This is the lake trout rod that you want. Okay, then moving into our walleye rods, essentially we've got a medium power walleye rod that comes in a 32-inch length and a 38-inch length, and that is the SLAPSHOT and the True Grit. Both of these are power walleye fishing rods, whether you're using jigs, large jigging spoons, rattle baits. You can also use these rods for lake trout. They've got lots of power. My preference always is the 38-inch. Some people prefer the 32 still. I think that trend is going to change in future years. People have the mentality, like I said, of fishing in a shack, you need a short rod or for whatever other preference they have. When you move down to our medium light walleye rods, we've got the SMOKESHOW, which is a 37-inch medium light, and we've got the Meat Locker, which is a 31-inch medium light. Again, these have the same action and power as each other. It's only a preference on whether you want that extra length or not. And this is kind of on the lighter side of walleye fishing or on the upper side of perch fishing or something like that. Essentially, we've got a medium and a medium light to cover every single walleye application that you would want to fish for, besides the dead stick.
So we're gonna move into the more perch side of things, which is the 36-inch light.
Royal Flush.
The Royal Flush.
This is the perfect perch rod, which is also good as an extreme finesse walleye rod if you're using really small jigging spoons and typically targeting eater-sized fish. There's gonna be plenty of power for walleye fishing. Still light enough to fish for larger panfish and whatnot. Right now I have a spring bobber attached on here. This is a prototype that we're working on. It doesn't come with the rod. You don't need to use a noodle rod for that ultimate sensitivity, because when you add a spring bobber, it turns it into the most sensitive rod, and you will find lots of things to use for it on the finesse side of the applications. Moving on to our panfish specific rods.
We have the 29-inch ultralight here, which is a PANTASTICK, and then we do have the 39-inch DIPSTICK.
So these two rods are actually completely unique from the rest of the lineup. And what you'll see is if you hold them up to the sun, they're actually half translucent. You can see through the rod because they're made of glass. And a glass makeup of rod has a much softer action. It'll bend way deeper into the rod. And for something like a panfish that has a really soft mouth, you want that so that it really absorbs everything that little panfish does when it's digging. So you got the 29-inch ultralight PANTASTICK. That's all you can do with panfish, especially if you're scared to go with a longer rod. Then you move up to the DIPSTICK, which is a 39-inch light. It's basically the same action and power, except in a longer version. And with that length comes a lot more applications. You'll find that you can work all sorts of little jigging spoons and jigs with this for perch, panfish, small walleyes, everything. And the other thing, it is called the DIPSTICK because the tip dips down so nicely and it turns into the ultimate dead stick rod. For whatever you're fishing for, when the fish bites, it can bend so far into the rod so the fish isn't detecting that bite. And then when you come over and set the hook, it bends even further to load up and fight that fish. Also a great rod to use with an iFish Pro tip up. You will find many uses for it, and it could be the only rod you need unless you're getting into using larger baits for trophy game fish.
So our last rod right now is the 19-inch light. This is actually the only rod that I designed, and the reason why I designed this is because I wanted to have a sight fishing rod, and I did not have much expertise behind this, but I saw a bunch of other companies doing it.
Every other company,
and we wanted to offer you guys a sight fishing rod. This is a 19-inch length rod. It bends pretty much all the way into the butt there, and if you're into sight fishing and you want to get right over the hole and be able to see the bluegills or panfish that you are fishing for, or any fish for that matter, this rod is for you.
Yeah, but then Jason Mitchell puts out a sight fishing show at First Ice this year, and he says he prefers a longer rod for sight fishing. So we really don't know what's going on. This is going to be our cheapest rod. We will try to put it to use and do some sight fishing shows with it this winter, but that is the one rod that is not packed with expertise. So take your chances on the sight bite if you dare.
This is a more informational video, not exactly fun or not fishing, but I think it had to be done, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this.
We're so pumped to deliver these rods straight to you. These are the best rods for the cheapest price because they are coming directly from us to you. No middleman, no stores.
Thanks again for watching the Frostbite YouTube channel. We will catch you guys next time. No?
No, that was good.
Okay.
Oh, my knees were burning. I just didn't know it.
So we drew that cheesy hole for some reason. Not really sure why, because we're
Drilled, not drew.
Drew? Drilled? Is that what I said? Now we're going to talk about the Royal Fletch, which... Now we're going to talk...
I fletched in my pants.
I don't know why somebody wants a 19-inch rod. Like, comment below if you want a 19-inch rod.